In the mysterious and often misunderstood world of reptiles, few creatures evoke the same sense of awe, fear, and fascination as the king cobra. As the world's longest venomous snake capable of reaching lengths up to 18 feet, it reigns supreme over its serpentine kingdom. But what happens when two kings cross paths? Welcome to the rare and riveting spectacle of King Cobra versus King Cobra, a dramatic showdown of dominance, territorial pride, and instinctual survival. While the king cobra is more famously known for feeding on other snakes, it is not immune to conflict with its own kind. In fact, these clashes can be some of the most intense and strategic encounters in the animal kingdom. Their name king stems from their remarkable tendency to hunt and consume other snakes, including rat snakes, kraits, and even other cobras. This serpent-eating behavior is part of what makes them so formidable and feared. They prefer to live alone, except during the brief mating season, when males actively seek out females. A solitary predator, king cobras are highly intelligent and solitary snakes that roam the forests of India, Southeast Asia, and the Philippines. Although they are called cobras, they are not true cobras of the Naya genus. But what happens when the king cobras come into contact, especially to males during the breeding season? Their conflicts are not about killing. They're about proving superiority. The goal is to force the opponent's head to the ground and keep it there, signaling submission. The snake that pins the other down becomes the dominant male and wins the right to mate. The classic King Cobra versus King Cobra duel is more like a wrestling match than a fight to the death. The trigger, mating rights. Once a male is defeated, he will slither away, and the victor claims the female until, of course, another challenger appears. These deadly duels are rare, but they do happen especially when food is scarce, and one cobra views the other as prey rather than a competitor. Male king cobras are not inherently aggressive toward one another outside of mating season, and in the world of king cobras, dominance must be established through a ritualized battle of strength and endurance. But when a female is nearby, the stakes rise and so do the chances of confrontation. Their movements are strategic, and they often test their opponent's strength before committing to a full-fledged battle. They use their forked tongues and Jacobson's organs to detect pheromones left behind by potential mates. Most of what we know comes from field researchers, herpetologists, and occasional footage captured by lucky observers. Mating season usually occurs between January and April, and during this period, males become hyperalert to the scent of receptive females. These are not mindless brawls but calculated displays of dominance rooted in millions of years of evolution. It is known to exhibit decision-making behaviors, has a strong memory of its and displays maternal instincts that are rare among snakes. In fact, it is the only snake known to build a nest for its eggs, which the female guards until they hatch. If two males happen upon the same female or her scent trail, a conflict is inevitable. In Hindu mythology, it is associated with the god Shiva, who wears a cobra around his neck, whether driven by the urge to reproduce or a fight for dominance. These serpentine skirmishes reveal the incredible power and intelligence of one of nature's most legendary creatures. In Southeast Asia, it is seen as a guardian spirit in some traditional beliefs, but it is delivered in massive quantities, enough to kill an elephant or 20 humans. It attacks the nervous system, leading to paralysis and respiratory failure. When used against other snakes, it's quick and efficient. The battle begins. Unlike many other predators, king cobras do not immediately resort to biting. The two males will rear up, sometimes to 1/3 of their body height. Imagine to 10-foot snakes standing nearly 3 feet tall, coiling and trying to push each other down. These intense displays can last for up to an hour, showcasing the physical strength, flexibility, and endurance of these serpents. What's fascinating is that these battles rarely end in death or serious injury. King Cobra versus King Cobra. Beyond mating season. While most encounters between king cobras are driven by mating competition, there are occasional territorial disputes, especially in areas where snake populations are dense or habitat is shrinking due to human encroachment. In such cases, fights may escalate. Though uncommon, there have been observations of one king cobra killing and even eating another. In these lethal fights, venom is often used. The king cobra's venom is not the most potent in the snake world. What makes the king cobra so unique? The king cobra stands out not just for its size, but also for its cognitive abilities. In a fight between two king cobras, this intelligence is evident. Rare but spectacular documented cases of king cobra versus king cobra battles are rare in the wild due to the snake's elusive nature and the dense jungle habitats they prefer. But in every recorded case, the same themes repeat: ritual, respect, and raw power. A symbol of power, the king cobra has long been revered in various cultures. A fight between two of these iconic reptiles is more than a clash of snakes. It's a symbolic struggle between titans, echoing themes of dominance, survival, and nature's unyielding balance. Conclusion: when kings collide in the animal kingdom, few battles are as mesmerizing and intense as that of King Cobra versus King Cobra. Though they may rule in solitude, when two kings meet, only one can wear the crown. What does the king cobra fear the most? The king cobra, revered and feared across the jungles of Asia, is often seen as the ultimate predator. Stretching up to 18 feet long, armed with potent neurotoxic venom, and able to kill an elephant with a single bite, the king cobra reigns supreme in the world of serpents. But even kings have enemies. Despite its reputation as the king of snakes, the king cobra is not without fear. But what exactly does this apex predator fear the most? The king cobra is not an ordinary cobra. It's the longest venomous snake in the world and one of the most intelligent reptiles. Unlike other snakes, it doesn't just attack blindly. It observes, calculates, and strikes with purpose. Let's explore the surprising answer. The king cobra, nature's royal predator. Before we understand its fears, we must first understand its strength. What sets it apart even more is its diet. King cobras primarily feed on other snakes, including rat snakes, pythons, and even other venomous species like kraits and other cobras. That's where its scientific name, Ophiophagus, comes from, meaning snake. It's one of the rare times you'll see a predator hesitate or retreat. It's the classic story of David versus Goliath in the animal world. And sometimes, David wins. So with all this power, intelligence, and venom, what could possibly frighten such a formidable predator? Fear number 1, the mongooses. Nature's fearless fighters to the king cobra. Humans represent both a threat and a force it cannot understand. In many parts of Southeast Asia and India, king cobras are killed on sight, either out of fear or to protect livestock. If you've ever seen a mongoose in action, you'll understand why it tops the list of what the king cobra fears most. While not completely immune, a mongoose can survive a cobra bite long enough to finish the fight. They prefer to avoid humans altogether, and when encountered, they will often flee rather than attack. Mongooses are small, weasel-like mammals, known for their lightning-fast thick coats and resistance to venom. Even their potent venom can't save them from habitat loss and human misunderstanding. When a mongoose confronts a king cobra, the battle is swift and shocking. The cobra spreads its iconic hood, hisses, and strikes, but the mongoose dodges like a seasoned martial artist. Interestingly, king cobra mothers are the only snakes that build nests and guard them. But once the babies hatch, they're on their own. Loud noises, fire, and vibrations can send even the boldest cobra slithering into hiding. That's why in some rural villages, people bang pots or light fires to scare away snakes. They are born venomous, but they must rely more on stealth and speed to survive. In a matter of seconds, the mongoose can bite the cobra's neck and kill it. Cobras sense the heat and smoke as danger, often avoiding firelit areas, even if prey is present. King cobra hatchlings emerge into a dangerous world where almost everything wants to eat them. Birds of prey, civets, monitor, lizards, and even other snakes. Cannibalism is known to occur, and sometimes the loser becomes lunch. Despite their size and strength, king cobras still carry deep instincts from millions of years of evolution, and that includes fear of the unknown. If it misjudges the situation, the python can constrict and kill the cobra. Encounters with reticulated pythons, large kraits, or even other king cobras can turn deadly. King cobras instinctively recognize this threat and will often avoid mongooses if given the chance. The fear that drives young cobras to hide and escape is part of the natural order, shaping their behavior as they grow into apex predators. Why this matters? Despite being a larger and more venomous creature, the king cobra fears the mongoose because of its agility, venom, resistance, and skill. Fear number 2. Humans, the greatest threat of all. Their greatest enemies are sometimes their own kind. A brutal reminder that the jungle honors no favorites. Whether it's the quick-striking mongoose, the destructive power of humans, the dangerous world for young hatchlings, or its ancient instincts toward fire and sound, the king cobra lives a life of survival, not domination. No creature on Earth has reshaped the environment and the food chain quite like humans. Whether through habitat destruction, hunting, or superstition-fueled killings, humans pose the greatest long-term threat to king cobras. And that, perhaps, is the most humbling truth. Even the most feared predator still knows fear. Despite their deadly venom, king cobras are not aggressive unless provoked. But in today's world, fleeing is harder. Deforestation and urban expansion have pushed cobras closer to villages and cities, increasing human-snake conflict. Why this matters? King cobras fear humans not just because of physical harm, but because we are unpredictable, destructive, and unrelenting. Fear number 3. King cobra hatchlings fear everything. While adult king cobras are apex predators, their young are anything but. These juveniles must fend for themselves from the moment they hatch. At this vulnerable stage, young cobras are filled with instinctive fear and must learn quickly or die. Why this matters? Even the king of snakes starts life as prey. Fear number 4. Fire and noise. Ancient instincts like most reptiles, king cobras are sensitive to sudden environmental changes. Though they lack ears, cobras are extremely sensitive to ground vibrations and sudden movements. Loud disturbances confuse and frighten them. In folklore, fire has long been used as a snake deterrent. And there's some truth to it. Why this matters? These fears are ancient and hardwired. Can a king cobra be killed by other snakes? Surprisingly, yes. Even though the king cobra is a snake eater, it doesn't always win. In territorial disputes, king cobras may fight one another, and these battles don't always end cleanly. In rare cases, the king cobra might try to eat a python too large to overpower. Why this matters? Overconfidence can be fatal, even for the king. Conclusion: the fear within the king cobra, majestic and terrifying, still experiences fear. Its reign is powerful but not invincible. What the king cobra fears most? ISNT. Key takeaways. Mongooses are the king cobra's deadliest natural enemy. Humans cause more long-term threat through habitat destruction and conflict. Young king cobras fear everything. They are vulnerable, prey. Instinctual fears like fire and loud noise still influence behavior. Other snakes, including pythons or rival cobras, can kill them in rare battles.